There's an old story in which two guys are walking down to the pub and they pass this church. And the church sign says, "Convert to Christianity and receive $200. So the young guys go, "This is fantastic. Let's go in, do the conversion, get the $200, go down to the pub." So one of the guys says, "Okay, I'll go in and do it, you wait here." The guy goes in, half an hour later, he comes back out and his friend says, "So did you get the $200? And his friend just puts his hand on the other guy's shoulder, nods his head and says, "Is money all you non-Christians think about?" Now, what this story tells us is that it would be ridiculous to actually really be converted for $200. Because if you're converted because you want $200, you're not really being converted because you love Jesus, because you've been seduced by the divine, because God has touched your life. You're doing it because you want something. Now, in a similar way, if someone wants God because they want meaning in their life, or they want God because they don't want to go to hell, or because they want to get to heaven, they're not seeking God, they're seeking heaven. They're seeking not to go to hell. Some people talk about a God-shaped hole, and they say there's a big gap in our life and God comes and fills it. But would it not be more true to say that when God shows up, God creates that gap, creates that hole? That the only people who really desire God are the people who know God. Think of it like this. I can't desire somebody until I know them. Because how could I desire them because I don't know them? If I want a child, I don't desire a particular child because the child hasn't been born. It's only when the child is born that I desire that child. See, human beings are like the TARDIS in Doctor Who. The TARDIS is this small frame the size of a telephone box that the Doctor travels through space and time in. But when you open up the doors, it's got infinite proportions, all these rooms and chambers, and it goes on forever. Now that's a beautiful analogy of human subjectivity. This fragile frame that you can walk around opens up to an infinite inner world, this subjective world. And so when somebody shows up and appears, they're also still to come. They're there and present, but there's so much of them still to learn, so much of them still to know. Every person is like a universe. And when someone shows up, our desire is not satisfied, our desire is deepened, and we want to explore that relationship and explore that life. Hence, marriage is a lifelong commitment to explore the universe that is the other person. And in the same way, when God shows up, our desire is just overflowing. God opens up our desire because there's so much that we don't know. We are like ships sunken in the very depths of the ocean. While the ocean contains the ship, and the ship contains the ocean contains the entire ship, while the ship contains only a fragment of the ocean. So when God shows up, our desire is born. We seek to go deeper, to know more, we're saturated. Desire is not satisfied in God, desire is born in God.